When one of the most important visual novels in history returns, part of the industry inevitably holds its breath. The remastered edition of this legendary time travel tale has sparked intense debate, with global critics sharply divided in the reviews of the new remake. For some, it's the definitive release of an absolute giant of its genre. Others point to a lack of any real need to revisit a familiar story, raising concerns over a lost soul and a price tag that sits too high. Will this new worldline manage to defend itself against the harsh judgment of players? The updated visual style stirred up the most emotion among reviewing outlets. DualShockers praises the developers for respecting the original work, noting a smoother pace and a modern take on a familiar presentation. Hardcore Gamer highlights the beautifully animated main character models, calling it a fantastic opportunity to dive into the Okabe Rintaro story. Journalists at Tech Gaming similarly comment the sharper visuals and overhauled audio, while GameBlast raves about the completely renewed production, gorgeous graphics, highly successful sound design, and polished details. However, not all media outlets are equally enthusiastic about the new look. CG Magazine labeled the new visuals a very mixed experience, and a critic from Worth Playing argues that the game has lost its former character, claiming the modern appearance stripped away part of the story's unique personality and original flavor. Even so, Digitally Downloaded believes that minor graphical adjustments won't ruin the fun, viewing it as still the definitive version of a true genre classic. In terms of script and gameplay, the developers introduced several key changes. GameLiner points to the phone trigger system, which deepens the story, while praising the new narrative branches and multiple unique endings. Tech Gaming strongly highlights the entirely new Gamma Worldline story path. Noisy Pixel mentions Moeka's additional route, the Observer mode, and the freshly recorded voice lines for the characters. Despite these additions, the story's pacing generated considerable controversy. Game 8 recalls the painful slow burn start in the first half of the game, but feels the new surprises make a return trip to Akihabara worthwhile. But Waivo praises the improved pacing and brilliantly written characters. Noisy Pixel, however, holds a completely opposite view, accusing the game of stripping down its core foundations too heavily and rushing the narrative, causing some emotional relationships to lose their original weight. Console Creatures concludes that the title is stuck in narrative limbo, doing nothing inherently wrong, yet rarely delivering any genuine positive surprises. Reviews also brought up very specific technical notes. Italian outlet Wagner points to minor performance issues on the Steam Deck. Final Weapon complains about an annoying lack of subtitles during static images and criticizes text being overly compressed on screen. Tech Gaming notes a few isolated UI glitches. The high price tag of the new release proved to be another recurring theme. Game Green pulled no punches in criticizing the high purchase cost, stating that the limited amount of fresh content does not justify the expense. Gamer Social Club views the high price as a significant risk and a steep barrier to entry for newcomers. The question of whether it's worth buying yields very different answers. Who's this game actually for? RPG site unhesitatingly recommends it to all new players as an ideal starting point to experience this extraordinary story. RPG Fan calls the remake an excellent way to take in the full narrative. Loot Level Chill highlights it as a must-play for science fiction fans, and GameBlast considers it a great recommendation for anime enthusiasts. On the flip side, Wagner views the game as redundant for series veterans, as those familiar with the original won't find many groundbreaking additions. Worth Playing adds that there is no rush to buy, suggesting that if you already own an older version, you can safely skip this release. Steins Gate Reboot is an exceptionally solid, though far from flawless production. Its refreshed presentation and new narrative paths may draw in newcomers, but they are likely to divide veterans. Currently, its Metacritic average sits at 83 out of 100, based on 20 PC reviews. One thing is certain: if you are looking for a brilliant time travel story, this title, whether in its original form or as a this reboot, is for you. Let us know in the comments if you will be diving into this adventure. Drop a thumbs up if this review roundup helped you make up your mind, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with our latest coverage. See you in the next video.